Alright, so I couldn't resist and I got myself a new toy. This is a Wood-mizer LT40 fully hydraulic sawmill. I bought it off of a gentleman who unfortunately had a big wildfire go through his property, and this mill got some fire damage. So he was not willing to deal with it or try to fix it up and just wanted it gone. So I went there, looked at it, and actually it looks like in a pretty decent condition for having been through a wildfire. So here are the things that are really bad on it. This used to be a gas tank and a water tank. These used to be the wheels. Already fixed that. Has brand new wheels and hubs. I did on the spot there. And there were a few spots where hydraulic hoses were on the ground and they got really burned. So this is the log loader. It was on the ground and got heavy damage, but this is very thick steel, so it just looks ugly and rusty, but no damage to it. Where damage happened is with these I'm not sure if you can see well, but there's cylinders down there. It's pretty black and the hoses have burned off. I think there is one here, so I'll have to replace some hoses. I don't think it's a big deal. For example, this one here, where it's a pair of cylinders, hydraulics burnt straight off. So, and the lock turner as well, it's pretty charred. So looking at this, some people will be like, okay, this is a waste of money, and it might well be, but the things that are positive is that, so looking down here, there was no damage at all to the cutting head. The engine looks fully intact. All these wires here fully intact. I looked at the oil, looks great. The air filter looks great. No damage here. And all these hydraulic things here look fully functional. So I'm hoping that on the pump and the hydraulic system side things are okay, except for the hoses, and hoses are not really that expensive. I'm kind of optimistic that this may be a reasonably inexpensive repair. For example, down here, this is a toe board cylinder. This one was very low to the ground, but this one looks completely intact. You know, down here, I'm not sure you can focus. And the one on that side as well looks completely intact. So the main reason I got this is that I wanted to have a sawmill, because there's so many trees around here on the property, including a lot of trees that are like this one, this gorgeous pine tree, and unfortunately it has died. This thing is about 4 feet in diameter at the bottom. There is another one here that has fallen over in a windstorm. You can see all the way around. There is this one here that has died a few years back. There is one back there with a missing head, which will probably also die very soon. And I would hate just to have these gorgeous trees go to waste. I would prefer to mill them up and use the lumber for something useful around the farm. We also have a few trees like this one down there, which has been standing like this for many years. You can see the woodpeckers have made holes to the sides. I'm not clear though if the hardwood in this tree is actually still usable. So if I cut off you know, 6 inches off of each side if the very center would still be savable. That's where this thing comes in. I actually had ordered another sawmill from Woodland Mills. I had ordered a Woodland Mills HM130 Max. The wait times though are a few months out, and it was cheaper for me to buy this thing, and even if I had gotten the Woodland Mills, I would still have to spend a lot of time actually assembling it once it arrives. And I think actually I'll spend comparable amount of time fixing this thing up, and once that time is spent, I'll have a fully hydraulic mill as opposed to a manual mill with the Woodland Mills. This also can cut 20-foot beams, while the Woodland Mills could only cut about, I think, 16 point something. So definitely I'm excited about this one, and I'm hoping that it's not too far gone. I'll give it a shot to restore it back to its former glory. Now, just getting this thing here was a big adventure in itself. So initially these tires looked like this, and on the other side, this wheel here, the whole thing was completely frozen. I tried to beat on this with a hammer, with an impact wrench. I took the center bolts off, like it would just not budge. So a bit of advice here, what I did was I just put a new wheel on in there, and I used the truck to push the trailer back and forth until this hub freed up a little bit. And then once it freed up, I pulled over by the side of the road and just changed the whole hub. I knew what exactly kind of wheels and hubs this uses, so I had extras to bring. I took some from my other trailer, and this really helped a lot. So I did not really go without fight. I had to cut off some bearings, but otherwise things were as smooth as they could have been. Oh man, look at this view. Battery on this burned pretty bad. You can see there's holes here and it leaks acid. It's important not to plug in a new battery here and just hard connect it, because if something starts smoking, you don't have a quick way to remove the source. So this one you can just unplug quickly. I also got my fire extinguisher here just in case. I'll see sparks. Oh, hey. Ooh. That actually moves. This is supposed to move forward. Let's see this one. Ooh. It is actually going up. Wow, okay. So everything actually works except moving forward and backwards. It doesn't go very fast either because the battery is weak or it's binding somewhere. Great sign. So this means that this whole assembly here, there is no short circuits. So when I swap this out, that'll be all I need to do. Let's see if the motor actually turns over. It won't start because there's no fuel, but wow. Okay, so it can come back but not forward. That's interesting. Actually, I was wrong again, so you have to turn this knob forward and then the forward actually works. See, for the way back it actually overrides the position of the carriage feed. So you can see super slow. And then on the way back, much faster. Okay, this actually fully works. Every one of those three motors actually works perfectly, including the starter motor. Okay, let's check the hydraulics now. Just got these bolts off. Okay, so let's try to decipher how this works. So I was looking at this. This looks to be the tank with this fuel cap here. You can actually see there is oil almost to the top, which is just what the manual calls for. It is up to spec, which is great. Then this is the electrical motor slash pump. I guess this is the pump, this is the motor. And this is the high pressure hose, this one here. Okay, and comes in here to this collection of switches, and then depending on whatever switch you turn, it shoots out high pressure fluid, and on the circuits that need it, I guess it also returns from the bottom side, or vice versa. Okay, and then whatever is, once you're done, it goes out here. This is like the low pressure side, goes through a filter and goes back to the tank. I think there is also another like a filter bypass that goes straight to the tank as well. The way this is activated is there is this massive wire here that goes through the frame, and on this side just gets attached to this strip. Okay, so this is, there is this insulation here, so I'm assuming this is positive, because everything else is ground negative. So this is the positive here, and there is a contact here between the battery and this wire that connects right here. So once the mill is past this point, you no longer have hydraulics, because the electrical motor of the hydraulics no longer has power. So from here on out, you're strictly just sawing with whatever settings you have. You can't lift logs or turn or whatnot. You have to be somewhere in here to be able to do that, which makes sense. All right, so next step here. First off, I'm going to pressure wash the whole thing, just get a real good look at, you know, how things are looking here and how much rust there is around, especially these areas. Then I have already ordered a bunch of parts, hoses here, ordered new blades, new gas and water tank, a bunch of little bits and ends. And Wood-mizer actually ships things relatively quickly, relatively inexpensively. However, if you order 10 items right now, they ship 2 of them the next day, and then another 2, a week after, and they just don't seem to have stuff in stock at all. It's September 2021, so times are definitely not normal, and maybe this explains why this is the way it is. But anyway, I'm just trying to clean this up, and then I'm going to try to paint up some of these areas here. Try to save it from rusting. I'm not going to go too all out. I'm just going to scuff off the rust and use some Rust-Oleum paint to restore it. Then I'm going to reinstall brand new hoses, get the engine going. It shouldn't be too much work, but I definitely have to open this up, clear up the mouse nest there, and change the oil. I'm gonna change the hydraulic oil here and then give it a spin as soon as the new blades arrive. So that's the plan. If anybody has gone through restoration of a Wood-mizer LT40 hydraulic mill, let me know what to look out for, and really, if you have any suggestions, I'm all ears. Thanks again for watching, and on to the next one.